So you're looking at getting a Volkswagen, you're looking at getting one of your first Volkswagens, or you're looking at getting your first car in general. What do you look at? Well, there's quite a few options out there, and there's a lot of options out there where they're not quite reliable compared to something like this. This is my MK5 Rabbit, also based on the MK5 Jetta, as well as the MK5 GTI. But this is probably one of the best, most reliable Volkswagens you can buy for your money. I bought this for less than $10,000 back in March of 2022, and I just want to walk through like why this is probably your best option. So before I go in any further, you might be thinking, well, what about the MK6 GTIs? What about the MK5 GTI? What about the MK7? MK7 GTI, in my opinion, is one of the most reliable Volkswagens you can buy, hands down, for the performance as well. Reliable, has great performance, but the biggest issue is they're expensive. This is less than $10,000. You can find these any day for under $5,000 even. Higher mileage, a little bit rougher around the edges, but reliability is key when you're looking at a daily driver. So let me show you the biggest reason why I think this is the most reliable. And it's under the hood here. So MK5 GTIs are known for starting essentially the EA888 engine architecture, the two OTs in the Volkswagen lineup. But they also had something else up their sleeve, which was this. A 5-cylinder engine. NA, no turbos, extremely simple, extremely reliable. These are known for their high reliability. It's essentially the 2.0 NA engines that Volkswagen made, but added another cylinder onto it, and it's worlds more reliable, in my opinion at least, because of this right here. These use a timing chain compared to those engines which use a timing belt. It's just, this is phenomenal. This also has an aftermarket intake on it. Usually the intake goes up. Anyways, this right here is the core of what makes the MK5 Rabbits and the MK5 Jettas some of the most reliable dailies you can buy. This engine, if you take care of it in the right circumstances, is phenomenal when it comes to its reliability. In terms of reliability, if you do the maintenance, you do your oil changes, you change what you need at the regular intervals, this engine will last upwards of 200,000 miles, which makes it, in my opinion, one of the best, most reliable Volkswagens you can buy for the money. Few little common issues with MK5s. The paint's not exactly the greatest. You can start getting issues when it comes to it. The clear coat starting to peel. MK5s are also known for rust, so you got to watch out for that. This one's super clean. It has 106,000 miles on it. This is mine. This is my personal car. I drive this every day to work. It's awesome. Here's a little bit of the clear coat peeling here in the badge. That's what I'm talking about. The paint's not the greatest. But other than that, I mean, look at it. It's a 2-door hatchback. These also came in 4-door. This one's a 5-speed manual. Let's go behind the wheel. Let's drive this thing. Stepping into the car first, you notice, one, I have an aftermarket radio. This is actually no, this isn't an aftermarket radio. This is a Mark6 Golf R radio. Also aftermarket steering wheel, Black Forest shift knob. It's very simplistic in here. And that's what I love about it. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. You have climate control, you have your radio. There's nothing fancy in here. And it's all pretty relatively good build quality. Like, the dash is a soft touch material, so it has a little bit of plushness to it. And even these plastics are pretty nice to look at, pretty nice to feel. Everything's not too terrible to touch. One big issue with the MK5s is if you look back here, headliner's falling down. That is very common on these cars. And I've been working trying to get this repaired, as well as getting the door cards, because these will start to peel up. That's one of the issues. But again, this is a used car. You're buying a used car. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be in the best shape. But what it comes down to is reliability and how well these cars do driving day to day and maintenance wise. That's the biggest thing. So let's start it up and go for a drive here. Starts up nice, easy, beeps at you a little bit. Do have a check engine light on, and that is strictly because the cooling systems on these cars, the thermostat's known to get stuck open. And I think that's what's causing this. I don't actually know what that issue is. It just says cooling performance check. That's it. Also low on windshield washer fluid. That's not a big deal. TPMS isn't really running right now because the wheels and tires I have on here do not have TPMS. So that's just blinking all the time. Mark 6 Golf R radio, fantastic. I'm going to do a video on that shortly at some point, but let's go on a drive. Let's look at the driving experience. So this still has a stock clutch. This shifter still has the stock linkage. This is not a short shifter. Other things I do have done to the car in terms of driving experience, I have ECS Tuning's 32-way adjustable coilovers on it, so it is a bumpier ride per se, but the stock suspension gave me confidence not only in corners, but it also gave me confidence driving around town, hitting potholes, hitting bumps. It was fantastic. So we're gonna get out of this park here and go on to some actual roads at speed. The best thing I love about the 07K engines is the low end torque. I'm 1500 RPM, just above there in second gear. Plenty of torque to get me around. Low end torque is fantastic on these engines. I can shift at 2500 RPM and I can get decent gas mileage. Now you got to think these engines were created early 2000s-ish. Mark IV era is when they sort of started putting these in the Beetles, and then they put them in the Mark V Jettas and the Mark V Rabbits / Golfs. So they're not the newest engines. Gas mileage wise, I average about 24 to and from work, which is a mix of city and highway. Again, it's like I drive 10 minutes to work, so it's not a good comparison, but I've been on quite a few trips with this car. It does great. It does great gas mileage wise. I've been able to get upwards of 30 mpg driving on the highway with not only this car, but my work has a JSW, which is a Jetta Sport Wagon 2010. Same engine, but it has the automatic, which I absolutely hate. And it's comparable gas mileage. But with the manual, you can get better because you can shift. You can upshift a lot faster and get just better gas mileage. So I think I'm gonna go this way. I think that's the way to the road I want to go to. I could be wrong. Could be very wrong, but we'll find out. So usually when I'm driving around, I like to shift between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM, get into the next gear, and then get up to fifth gear. I can get into fifth gear at 4,000 RPM, and I can drive around like this. Easy. I'm going 40 miles an hour, and I'm already driving the speed limit, essentially. Another note, these are the stock brakes. I hate the stock brakes. These are economy brakes. So if you're not doing any performance driving, these brakes aren't terrible. But even still, for my preference, I don't really like it. Let's get a little bit more into it here. It has plenty of torque, plenty of get up and go to get up to speed. This is not a fast engine. It's a reliable engine, has good low end torque, and you can get more power out of it. But for an economy car, for a first car, for a car you're just going to putz around town with, a car that essentially is going to be your reliable, I need to get to work, my project car is down, and I need something that'll get me to my job from point A to point B without having issues. This is perfect. Speaking of issues, I have had a few little tiny issues that are known in the Mark V. Specifically, one of them was the key. So the key got stuck in the ignition once, and that has to do with the lock cylinder, something like that. I forget the actual part I replaced it with, but that was sort of a scare. This actually happened when I was an hour away from home at Mid-Ohio filming some stuff for work, and essentially what I had to do is I had to stall the car to stop it, and then if I needed to start it again, I had to disconnect the battery and then start it from there. It was a pain in the ass. All right, these coilovers really jutting me around. I still need to fine tune them. They're not tuned the best. I still need to get some work in when it comes to making these coilovers feel awesome. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is talking about the driving experience and this car in general and why this is a car you would want to buy. So gonna go hit a few corners here. Since the Mark V Rabbits are based off of the Mark V GTI platform, you have independent rear suspension, you have a great setup up front, and it really, really makes this car fun to drive and very confident in the corners. I'm gonna hit a roundabout up here coming up in a little bit. I'm gonna do 1 or 2 laps around it just to show you that I do have confidence in this vehicle going through the corners. And speaking of that, The coilovers do help, but even when it was in stock form, it felt fantastic. I absolutely love driving this car in back roads. This car is great. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend a better car for people looking for their first Volkswagen or their first car in general, or just something reliable that's cheap to run and cheap to maintain. I run this car on 87. That's all it needs. Stock clutch feel is fantastic. I have a lot of confidence with this clutch in terms of finding the biting point and shifting smoothly, making it a smooth experience for my passengers if I ever have any. The stock clutch, they're light. They're super easy to get used to. They're lighter than a lot of other stock clutches I've used in my life. It's just fantastic. I'm in 5th gear. I cruise in 5th gear a majority of the time, and Ohio isn't really known for a lot of its back roads, so it makes it easy to go through life in 5th gear. This platform is just great. I really can't give it enough praise of how good this platform is. This is such a good daily. This is such a good car if you're looking to get into Volkswagens and you don't want to have issues with cam followers on the Mark V and some of the Mark VIs, or you don't want to deal with paying over $20,000 for a decent Mark 7. Some of the Mark IVs are also good with the 2.0s, just the NA 2.0s, but this has so much more power than those. This, I don't have to rev to the moon to get up to speed. I can keep it under 4,000 RPM going on the highway and everywhere. It's great. Shift into 5th. And like, look, I'm cruising. I'm just chilling. 40 miles an hour, just chilling in 5th gear. And here's where it really starts to shine. So I'm gonna go into this roundabout, no one's coming. So I'm in 2nd gear, pushing. I'm gonna go all the way and then keep going. There's a bump right here that I like to hit, and then I'm gonna floor it through here. This engine also likes to be driven too. It likes to hang out at higher RPMs, and there's still enough pull going from 2nd to 3rd where I don't feel like I'm dipping out of the power range. This engine has a very good torque curve stock, so I'm not surprised by that at all. And like, now I'm just cruising in 5th gear at 55 miles an hour. I'm gonna come up to a stop here, downshift. Downshifting's so easy in this car. So easy. Just rev matching is like smooth, it's nice. I can't give this car any more praise than I already do. It's fantastic. As a daily, it just makes sense. It makes sense. I'm gonna hit the highway here, give you a little bit of highway impressions, go back towards where I live. Even when it was stock, like right now there's a lot more noise, vibration, and harshness because 1, I have the rear seats out, 2, there's coilovers on this car, and 3, I have the intake. But when it was stock, this was so nice. It was so quiet. No one knew I wasn't riding around in a loud, obnoxious car. It was comfortable to drive. It's great on the highway, as we'll see here in a second. Downshift. Hit this on ramp. Get down into 2nd. What are you doing? Fucking horn doesn't work. You guys saw that. What the fuck? This is the shit I have to deal with out here in Ohio. What was that? And watch, they're not gonna get up to speed on the on-ramp, which I absolutely hate. Look, semi coming, like, come on. Oh my God. Go. There's a semi in the... Oh my God, I'm gonna have to slow down. Holy shit, this person is a fucking idiot. Thank you, Dodge owner. This person's actually the dumbest person I've ever seen. I'm getting over. Are they that dumb? What was that? This is daily here in Ohio I have to deal with this stuff. People don't know how to drive around here, and it's ridiculous. I should just drive around with a GoPro on my head for like ever, and it makes it... All right, hitting 70, putting cruise control on, speed limit 65 through here, 5 over, it's fine. Control that. This Kia is getting right up on me. I am sorry, I am not going 80 miles an hour. All right, but now highway feel. This is what it feels like. It feels great on the highway. A little bit more road noise from me having the rear seats out of it, as well as the tires are unbalanced. These wheels and tires aren't balanced the best. Again, I bought them used, so I'm not surprised, and I never even tried to balance them. I know they're missing wheel weights. It's fine. We're good. But, like, this feels great on the highway. Like, other than the coilovers be very bouncy through this portion. They feel great. I've driven this to Gatlinburg and back when it was even lower and stiffer, and it was fantastic on the highway. Holy wheel noise, Batman. I hope you guys heard that. But like, this is fantastic on the highway. It's comfortable. It's a nice driving experience. I don't have many blind spots with this car because of how it's set up, being a 2-door instead of a 4-door. And then getting off the highway, downshifting. Oh, it feels so nice. Just feel that. I'm gonna go to this Giant Eagle and get some gas, but yeah. Ultimately, if you're looking for something that's going to be a reliable daily, something that you can drive to and from work, something that's going to be your first Volkswagen that you own, I cannot recommend the MK5 Rabbits enough. I can't recommend the MK5 Jettas enough. Both kind of the same. Some Jettas have a torsion beam suspension in the rear. This one has independent, but like, the 07K engine is so reliable that it's unmatched. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully soon I'll be diving into the actual build of this vehicle. So let's get some gas and get on the road.